School Needs to Change by Mitchell Collins. The first article I will be looking at is Hidden Intellectualism by Gerald Graff. Gerald Graff is the president of the MLA and believes strongly in the same idea that I do, which is student-driven education would be the best form of education for both students and teachers. He says this in a quote where he says, "But they would be more prone to take on intellectual identities if we encouraged them to do so at first on subjects that interest them rather than ones that interest us." I believe that this is very true because students will not learn well if they do not care about the subjects at hand and they don't want to learn about the things as teachers are teaching them. This is not unintelligent, but rather intelligence in a different way. Because every topic has its nuances and its cool features. So, as long as a student is doing that in a subject, it is better than them doing that in a subject that interests them than not doing it in a subject that doesn't interest them. The next article I would like to look at is how video games like Minecraft actually help kids learn to read. This article is by Brecht Vandenbroek, who is a Belgian artist who is college educated in illustration and he is a professional comic artist. Now, this article is very similar to what Graff said about hidden intellectualism because he states the kids devoured them with no help and nearly perfect accuracy because they're really, really motivated. Now, this quote is referring to kids talking about Minecraft and they are wanting to write and read about Minecraft at a level way higher than they should be at. So, for example, third, fourth, fifth graders are reading at a college or high school level, which is way above what they would usually be able to read at simply because they are interested in the material that they are reading about. Students in this are in charge of their own education because it is a topic they are interested in and they actually care about it. This would make school much more interesting if we implemented more things like Minecraft into school for students to learn and read about, because this would interest them and this would make them want to go further and learn more about the topic and not just the basics. That way they can get a good grade on the exams. The next article I would like you guys to look at is The Dumbest Generation by Mark Bauerlin. Now, this was originally a peer-reviewed article written by Mark Bauerlin, as it says, but eventually Kay Heimowitz wanted to review this, and she wrote an article in response to The Dumbest Generation, which was written originally by Mark Bauerlin. Kay Heimowitz says that engagement is what, with cause, Bauerlin worries will become lost in our computer-dominated, youth-empowered, attention-deficit disordered culture. Now, this article actually disagrees with Graff's point of student driven education and adapting to their surroundings, and believes that we should focus more on traditional school rather than computers because, as she says, with computer dominated, youth empowered, attention deficit disordered culture, she thinks that that is bad and that students will become unwilling and unable to do things such as pay attention or, do certain tasks. Now, I don't believe in this, and I think that she is wrong because I believe that school should adapt to the way that the world is around us and not stay the same as it has been for the last 100 years. Every other aspect of our lives has adapted to technology except for school. You look at cars from 150 years ago, they're different than they were now. You look at phones from 150 years ago, they're different from they are now. To the world around us because new technology has come out and other things have made our lives easier. Now, every other aspect except for school has adapted to this principle and this fact. And I believe that if school taught us how to use things such as AI or use our new technologies that are available to us, it would be much more beneficial than what school is teaching us now, which is just the basics, which is the same things that people were taught 150 years ago. An article that I believe disproves the theory written by Mark Bauerlin, very much so, is a peer-reviewed article called A School-Wide and Multi-Contextual Perspective on Student Engagement in School. Now, this article was written by Ming-T Wang and Tara Hawkins, and they believe very much so in not only adapting school, but also making school more engaging for students outside of just academics, and they believe that extracurriculars can go a long way. They are quoted as saying, "Thus, focusing exclusively on academic engagement neglects the fact that adolescents' involvement with a wide range of academic activities and social interactions work together to shape their identities as socially integrated, academically capable, and committed learners." Now, this goes to show that schools should focus on all types of student engagement and learning, and not just intellectual kinds, such as, math, reading, English, social studies, and things of that nature. This article goes on to say that things such as teaching personality to students, making students join clubs or organizations that interest them, allowing students in making clubs that interest them would be much more beneficial than just teaching them the basics of each and individual intellectual subjects. This article also goes on to say that personability and personality are much more important to a person than necessarily the knowledge and basic skills that they have. Personability and personality is something that people use every day. Most people will probably not quote Shakespeare on a day to day basis. However, people will need to know how to gauge and engage with other people, tell what the other people are thinking, what they are saying, and interpret that so they can have personable and interactions with their both employers, peers, if they become teachers, then students, and all types of interactions between different groups of individuals. This article believes that if we went focused more on that, then we would have much more well-rounded individuals that were able to closely more relate to other people and would be much better overall individuals.